Hello and welcome. Oh, too early. Hello and welcome back to today's broadcasts. We had qualifying earlier and now we've got the next part of the weekend roundup. That'd be an interesting idea for the future. But not for now. The next session on the time schedule is... Let me just have a look. Ruffles paper. I don't have any papers to ruffle. It is, of course, the race. We've just had a pretty boring GTWS race with a few technical difficulties, but let's just beam MP working its finest. Today, right now, we have all the drivers lined up in their cars, getting teleported to the grid one by one. I will be able to give you the lineup, the grid, in a few minutes when I get told it to myself. Until then, I won't know either. We're probably going to try over. Alright, this issue needs to get fixed on Discord. Right, we can't see the grid yet. But that doesn't mean that we don't have an exciting race. As you can see on the sides, we have the teams. We'll be able to see the teams, the gaps, the drivers, which will let us do races. It'll be very exciting here. And I believe we're going to have a formation map. I might need to reload a few things, so let me just quickly change this. And was that Racing Fox? Yeah, Racing Fox needs to load. So let me just go have a look for Racing Fox on the leaderboard. See which livery he's got. He's got number 2. But he needs the number... something. Okay, well... he's the 56, but he's currently driving number 2. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. I will, here we go. There we go, he's fixed it now. Back to this. Here we go. I don't know if we can have a formation map. Oh, I've got to... Right, one moment, please, while we sort this out. They should have got this sorted earlier. I told them to get it sorted earlier. But we've had an influx of new people, and none of them have listened to the rules and instructions. So we will wait for 2 more requests to reload. Let me just very quickly go and have a look.
17, that's fucked.
Can we get our liveries sorted, please? Thank you
sorted.
very
They are
much.
sorted.
Okay. And the drivers are now performing utter nonsense. Right. Just go back to Racing Fox and fix the camera angle for the broadcast. There we go. P8. There we go. And now have a look for this one. That is number 12, and he needs to be number 25. It's not that hard, people. I know you guys are watching the stream. It is not that hard to sign up for a team and put the correct livery on your car. Create a setup with your correct livery on. And then, once you've got that set up with the correct livery on, all you need to do is simply change the setup and make a new setup with that livery. But you won't have to change the livery every weekend, because, and hear this out, if you're using the same livery and retuning it, the same setup and retuning it every weekend, the livery's not going to change. The file's not going to change the livery. Seems like we're just going to go. So I will now stop complaining about the inability of these drivers, and we will get going with the race. I don't really know who is on pole, because I couldn't see the leaderboard for qualifying. But that is an issue that we have since fixed. And so what I can tell you is the drivers are going to do a formation lap. So we'll see a countdown at the top, and we will do a formation lap. When everyone is ready, we will go. Until then, there is not really much to do. Just waiting for the lights to go out for the first race of BeamGP Season 3. What is he saying in there? Anywho, let's not get wound up about that. Of course, if you look at the leaderboard, you do see the lovely safety car. Until the lights go out, we will just be waiting here. If you look over there, Wilbur in the Leighton House, number 69. Born in Britain, racing for Britain. This driver, who we are riding on board with, who is, of course, Curtis. He is currently at the back. But if we look behind us, there are more drivers. These drivers, they are just waiting currently for the lights to go out, much like us. This should be a very exciting race. So here is the grid. It has just been announced. So I will now read it to you guys. On pole, and this will be sorted out, the order will be sorted out on the formation lap. On pole, there's Alfie. P2 is Gab, P3 is Wilbur, P4 is Levy, P5 is Saber, P6 is Seas, P7 is Paradox, and P8 is the driver we're on board with right now. There are a few drivers who have since joined us, namely Racing Fox. And they will be starting from the pit lane. And they will go when the blue flag flies. Just waiting now for the countdown. The engine revving its heart out in Peter's car. We will ride on board with Wilbur. As we wait for the lights to go out, and by that I mean the countdown to start. And there is the thing you will assume you will get into your grid formations on the formation lap. Here we go then. Any moment now. Pit lane. Starters will be Seb and the Seb got P5 and a Racing Fox. So I don't know where Seb is going to be starting. Nope, Seb is starting from P5. There we go. Because these cars without horns, they can't be honked. The horns can't be honked because there are no horns. Although sometimes you really wish there were horns. That horn was the safety car. Here we go. Everyone is now telling the race directors that they are ready. And I will do it for fun. Even though they don't really care about me, because I am just the broadcaster and not an actual driver. Okay. We should have a few laps of racing then, I think. Don't you? This will be exciting. Of course. Now we won't be able to see the lap. Here we go. Waiting for the countdown. There is the countdown. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Safety car lights are on. And over again. 2, 1. And away they go. Brum, brum, brum. Half an hour delayed, but that's not to worry. Formation lap, off we go. I will remind you guys of the grid order, which we will so lovingly need. And we'll spectate the drivers on the order. On pole, we have the amazing Alfie here, racing for Pocomo. After Alfie, we have got, I just need to find them, this specimen, Gab, who is racing for APS. After Gab, we have got this driver, if I can find them, here we go, which goes by the name of Wilbur. Now Wilbur is racing for Leighton House. Apologies about that. So we have Wilbur, and then after Wilbur we have got this driver, who is very far behind, but this driver is called Levy. Levy is also racing for APS. After Levy, we have another driver. We have this driver, who is very far behind. This driver, of course, called Seb. Seb is followed by this driver. This driver, of course, called Seas. Seas is followed by just like that. This driver is called Paradox or Exic. Yes. And then, of course, from the pit lane, we have got this driver who is in the pit lane. A red flag has been flown. This is Racing Fox. I am your commentator today, Nath. That overlapped a little bit. There we go. So, green flag, and let me just set up the camera for the lights. Another formation now. Okay, seems we're going to go again, so aborted start, formation lap again. And we'll just watch the drivers go. A very bad start from the safety car there. Riding on board, we can see the safety car falling back to last place. These drivers, we're finding their positions again, getting back into the zone. And well, they've just got to get ready again. That's what they get on the server to do. There's a little contact between Wilbur and Levy. Safety car gets a penalty. That's funny. Alfie, very reckless with his track limits on formation. But yeah, these drivers, they know what they're doing. They're doing what they need to do. Yeah. Now they're just going to the grid. Hopefully correctly this time. Now, if you watched the GTWS race last hour, then you'd know the events that conspired, but yeah, we're hoping for a more what am I talking about? More entertaining F3 race. Wilbur has been kicked. Something's happened to Wilbur, he's lost connection, and there is a spinner. Gab has spun it. What is going on? Who am I watching? Oh, I'm watching Racing Fox. Yeah, that makes sense why they're in through the pits. Let's have a look at Sudas as he enters the grid, because they will need to leave a space. Oh no! All the drivers are going to get auto-towed for being in the wrong place. We will need to see what is happening. Oh, that's a lot of damage for the car right there. Of course, riding aboard here. Kept downstage, but there is a lot of damage on this car here. Green flag, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off they go. Safety car moves out the way. Massive start from Alfie there, held up by Gabby pinning him into the wall. Sudas makes up Alfie. What's going on? Alfie just cuts turn 1. After being told to slow down. I'm not exactly sure what is happening right now. There's a lot of commotion. I think safety car start is what we are seeing, what I'm being told. So yes. Yes, Alfie cutting every corner. He just wants to get this done. Let's have a look at the drivers at the back of the pack, back of the field. We'll ride on board with, well, this driver should be at the back of the grid. So I don't know why he's trying to be at the front. Let's go on board with Racing Fox, who should be at the back, letting everyone through. As a good person should. Formation lap. This is Racing Fox. And the grid is being said in the chat. So let me say it again, as it's been a while. So P1 we have Alfie, then we have Gab, then we have Wilbur, then we have Levy, then we have Seb, then we have C's, then we have Paradox, and then we have Theodis, and then we have here Racing Fox. Ignore that screen freeze. That's been happening all day. Now we wait for all the drivers to get ready. Hopefully they are lined up correctly this time. Let's ride on board with Wilbur as we start the race. Wilbur, oh, he's left, unfortunately. So we'll ride on board with the next driver in line, who is Levy. Green flag. And so the drivers are free to go. Here is Alfie driving off. Of course, no overtaking until the start-finish line, weaving as he can. He hasn't started the race yet, and there is the start-finish line. The race has started. Alfie followed by Gabby, and that is a very brave attempt from Levy. He, of course, the daredevil he is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and here we see it hasn't quite worked. Levy cutting turn 2 very slightly, and he's fallen back very far. Let's have a look at the back of the pack. Let's have a look at where Racing Fox has moved up to. Racing Fox behind other drivers. Something's happened. There's a spinner. Seb is oh, there's a crash, there's a flip. Suedas and Paradox have collided with each other. Let's have a look at Paradox, and well, someone has had a moment. They've both got moving again, and yeah, Suedas with no rear wing is off into the barrier again. That is going to have to be that's going to have to be looked at. That is a safety car. Safety car has been called. Let's just have a look at the drone shot of, yeah, that's a lot of damage. The radiator's gone, the rear wing's gone, the front wing has gone, and well, the only thing holding that together is a few nuts and bolts. He is out. Let's just go back to, well, he might be going again, but he's not allowed to. But he will be a lap down if he does go out. He's driven too fast. Let's just go back to Levy, who is still in P3. Of course, under safety car, everything is neutralized. Here is the graphic. 2 drivers entering the pit lane, Alfie and Gabby, because they want fresh tyres, fresh fuel. Levy, he thinks he can hold on to them. I don't predict this safety car will be too long, but this gives a chance for everyone to catch back up. A lot of drivers entering the pits. I think the only one who hasn't is Levy. Caesar's left the pits. Everyone now needs to catch back up to the safety car, which has got reset to the pits. Well, the safety car should be caught next time around the track. 85 kilometers an hour is the pit lane limit. A lot of drivers exceeding it. Here is Levy, our race leader, trying to catch back up to the safety car. 2 drivers out of the race. One of them didn't start the race, the other one has had a most unfortunate crash. The Sabre goes off track. And Levy now enters the pit lane. And so does Racing Fox. As Alfie leads now. Racing Fox back into the pits. That's 2 laps in a row. Excuse me. Something must be up. Into his pit box he goes now. Gabby passes the both of them. Oh no, Racing Fox didn't pit. Anyway, let's have a look at Alfie, who is in the lead. There is the safety car. This is Alfie. You can just see the lean of that safety car as it goes through the corners. Levy has left the pits now. Racing Fox has overtaken him in the pit lane. Unfortunate for Levy. Good news for Racing Fox. Less drivers for Racing Fox to overtake, but there's more drivers for him to defend from. Of course, being right in the middle of the pack. 3 drivers behind him, 3 drivers in front of him. He is dead in the middle. He will have to focus harder on one task. Of course, you can overtake a multitude of ways. You can overtake on the outside, you can overtake on the inside. Either one, preferable. But the inside is definitely the easiest way to overtake. Let's just have a look at the back view. So we see Gabby in the APS livery leading us from Seas, who is leading from Racing Fox. A little bit of confuddling, and Paradox catching up. There's a save, and there's Paradox. So, 3 laps in, under a safety car. Safety car is now in this lap. And, yeah. This will be interesting to watch. Let's ride on board with Gab. I can find them in the leaderboard. Ah, there they are. And we have 2 drivers in front. Oh no. Seas. We'll ride on board with Seas, who is in P3. As we wait for the green flag, the Iron Rock driver waiting precariously as we all search for the green light. Everyone is ready. Alfie, of course, can go whenever he wants. There is the green flag, but no one can go until Alfie goes. When's he gonna go? He is not going yet. He goes. Not now, but instead now. And that is a terrible getaway from Seas. Gab, a bit of a slow reaction. Yellow flag already. Something's gone on behind. And it's a green flag again. Alfie trying to defend, doesn't defend in the end. Still in P1, massive gap. A little bit sideways on the exit as we ride on board with Gab. Here is the 2nd place driver trying to catch up to the battle at the lead. There is 2 drivers there who have had collisions. Those, of course, being the car number 9 of Sunset and car number 56 of Leighton, Seb and a Racing Fox. Let's just have a look at them, see where they are. There is the number 9 of Sunset. And as we see Seb going off track a bit, cutting turn 2 a tad as we enter turn 4, trying to get closer and closer Seb is, but it's not quite working. Screwily out of turn 4. Let's have a look at his POV. Trying to catch, trying to overtake, but not quite making it work. Now he can do a little trick called not overtaking as he goes off track one more time. I would say that wasn't correct. What it can do is not overtake and just take the free slipstream. Of course, if he does that, it is very risky. Let's ride on board again with Alfie as we look behind him. No one fighting him at all. He has just got a lot of fresh air. Something has happened to Gabby. P3 and C's fighting. Paradox and C's. What's happening here? Down into turn 1. Paradox has already gone around the outside. Little gap for C's and Paradox gone sideways. Paradox has had a lot of oversteer. Side by side as we go into exit of turn 3. Is C's gonna go for slipstream? No, he's not. He's trying to just drag race him down to the end. Trying to do the old switcheroo. He doesn't make it work. Too far away. Seb gets warnings for track limits. Alfie gets warnings for track limits. And this battle for P3, I think, is over. Just as it was heating up, it has ended. Or maybe not. Paradox very sideways out of turn 8. What's going to happen here as C's gains on him? What's going to happen out of turn 10? Sunset Racing number 12, Paradox, very deep on the exit. Held up C's. Paradox just lagging a little bit. The server is not very happy with this many drivers. And Sunset is just not getting away as fast as he would want to. He's lucky that didn't pull a flag up. Paradox very off track there. Seb and Alfie also running off track. Alfie in a lot of fresh air. He doesn't have to battle at all. Seasoned Levy. Paradox running off as well. Let's have a look at Levy's POV side by side as well. Levy's joined this rain as well. He's lost a front wing nose cone. Paradox into the pits. So now this battle is between C's and Levy's. We see that nose cone shooting past one more time. Of course, with this mod, when a body part flies off, it orbits the car. It doesn't just fall and stay stationary. No, it is a missile. You know those Mario Kart bombs, when you get 3 of them, they just spin around the car? That is the nose cone, and it has caught a few people out in the practice servers. Paradox leaving the server out of rage. Or something. Or maybe it's that he's left the pits. As C's gets a lot of oversteer on the apex for turn 8. Let's just have a look at his car again. Eating the smoke from Levy. And it's not exactly what you want. Gab getting a warning for track limits. Down into turn 11. Gab has been caught up. Levy and C's both catching up to the APS driver. The 2 APS teammates, Levy and Gab, they're catching. The gap between them is closing. Alfie pushing, because why would not he? He is, of course, a racing driver, and he wants to go fast. Levy pushing the edges of the track as he gets a track limits warning. Down into the final corner onto the straight, and Levy is caught in no man's land. So, a few laps done. and this race has had a lot of action in it. Season 3 looks to be pretty interesting as we enter turn 1 again. Levy seemingly flying. Something's gone on there and comes back down with a crash. The desync was massive there. I'm not sure what's happened other than desync, that's all I can say. That was an experience to say the least. Who is the closest battle? I think it's Sabre and Racing Fox, so let's just have a look at Racing Fox's POV here. As you can see, this is very close racing between the Leighton House and the Sunset Overdrive. Driver into turn 4, late braking from Racing Fox. That is his perk from these new guys, and he spun it, he's lost it. Did he make contact? I think he did, and almost gets collected by Paradox. Sees going off track a lot. Of course, he must be riding that little wave there. A little wave, the curb, and he's spun it again. Maybe he's got a puncture or something's happened, but Racing Fox is out of contention for anything unless a safety car happens. Let's just ride on board with Paradox, see what happens. Is he going to catch up to Sabe or not? It looks like he is not catching up to Sabe as Sabe speeds away. Let's just have a look at Alfie. He's had a very lonely race this race. He starts another lap. This is lap 17. I think I only allow about 4 more laps left. Of course, I can't see the lap counter. That's just how the mod works. But there is no way currently that I can see the current lap that they are on, unless I am racing myself. In which case I can show what lap I am. Anywho, let's just have a look at the times again. Levy seems to be catching up to Gabby. I think Gabby's tyres are falling off. Let's have a look at Gabby, of course. Yeah, that is a lot slower through those corners. Very cautious. Looking at the back, you can see Levy 3,000 feet away. Through turn 8 he goes. Very cautious. The power was not put on fast at all. Levy losing a lot of time though. Gabby gaining up. Maybe Alfie's had a moment as well. Anything could have happened. Of course, when you're not looking at drivers, they do anything. Anything at all. And the Leighton House number 56 is repairing himself. I think that is Racing Fox. Racing Fox made it back to the pits. And now he is just getting new tyres, new fuel. He's left the pits and he's now racing again. Here is Alfie entering the start-finish straight as we enter the 19th minute of this race. The leaderboard glitching for a moment, but we can still see the times nonetheless. Racing Fox almost a lap down. In fact, yes, almost a lap down from Alfie. As Alfie spins it out of turn 4, not holding the brakes. Of course, that might be constituted as not following race director's instructions. The whole of S2, if you spun, you had to hold your brakes down, and his tyres, as you can see, very hot. He has cooked them, and now they are feeling the brunt. Of course, I don't think he's had a pit stop since the safety car. I certainly don't remember seeing one, as we see someone's nose cone trying to assassinate Alfie. Alfie going to be entering the pit, I predict. Of course, these are only predictions. Anything can happen. Alfie might have a different strategy, but it seems a bit silly. He's had a massive time on these tyres. If he pits now, he's going to have a massive advantage to Gabby, and Gabby might be forced into another pit stop as well, and that would force everyone else into a pit stop. I think if Alfie stops now, he'll come out alongside Levy, but that counts Levy driving as fast as Alfie does. Let's just have a look. There is the gap to Gab. Alfie hasn't boxed. Let's just have a look at Seb's onboard as he is fighting C's 4P4 down into the penultimate straight now. C's falling behind, falling further and further behind. Not exactly how you fight for a position, falling behind, but his tyres might be off. Sabe's tyres might not have been dead. Sabe going wide. It's going to be interesting. Who is coming into the pits? Is C's coming in? C's is coming into the pits. Down. There is the pit limiter. Here we go. There's his pit stop. Let's have a look at another driver. There is Paradox going past, so let's have a look at Paradox's time. Another little screen freeze. The server obviously not liking this many drivers in this race. Very sideways there. Cease leaves the pits. Kind of a 12. Rounding turn 4. His tyres much having a lot of issues. Soon C's will be seeing Alfie. Alfie will be seeing C's before C sees Alfie. Because that's just how it works if you're behind someone. And Racing Fox is keeping pace with Alfie. Even if he's not gaining on Alfie, he hasn't really come down that much. So let's just have a look at Levy's time. Alfie in the pits. Levy not in the pits. As we ride on board with Levy, is he going to enter the pits? He does enter the pits, locking up his brakes. Two drivers in the pits now. And there is Gabby, who is also in the pits, leaving behind Alfie. So let's have a look at Gab's on board as we see them leaving the pit lane one more time. Next to Saber, this battle won't last very long. Because Saber, with such worn tyres from Gabby's fresh new tyres, but Saber will have less fuel. Something to keep in mind. What is going to happen here? These drivers pretty evenly matched in skill through turn 4. This is 4 position. Saber keeping his line. Gabby catching very slowly. Just looking at where Sabe is having issues. Massive lockup from Sabe. All the smoke going into our camera, our line. What's going to happen at turn 9, turn 10 complex? This corner I hate so much. The drivers hate so much. And Sabe spun it. And Gab's driven into him. There wasn't much Gab could do, but he didn't try and turn out of it. Gabby driving into Sabe, who lost control of his car. That is unfortunate. Doesn't seem like he's got too much damage. Let's just have a look at Levy now, who is behind Paradox. Levy going to try and overtake. A lot of drivers getting track limit warnings through turn 11 there. Very clean, both of those drivers through turn 12 and turn 13. Not much gaining is happening from Levy as we get a massive screen freeze one more time into the penultimate straight now from turn 15. Driving as fast as his car can go. braking at the 100 point, hitting that apex perfectly, going as wide as he can. Seb is not pitting this lap. No, Seb has entered the pits. Paradox not entering the pits. This battle is now for P3. And this race is heating up. What is Levy going to do? Braking a bit later. Not trail braking. Seb sideways. Seb spun it again. No, Paradox almost gets into the gravel, but he doesn't. Manages to save it, but he's going to be pitting this lap for sure. Let's just have a quick look at C's, who is behind Paradox now. Be a bit interesting to see what C's does, if C's is going to encounter Paradox. Of course, he's had a lot of position changes. He's gone forwards, he's gone backwards, off the track he goes. He's been on the track, he's been off the track. He's going to get another warning for that. Maybe even a penalty. These stewards cautious to give out penalties after last race in GTWS, I hope. They were handing out warnings like Oprah. C's 6 seconds behind Paradox. Is he going to catch up? We will see. Paradox spending a tad of time off track, not the place you want to be. Seb spending time off track, again, not the place you want to be. Seb getting warnings, C's getting warnings. Paradox, let's have a look. Is he going to enter the pit lane? Yes, he is. Entering the pit lane with a last minute lunge. And through he goes. Let's have a look at our race leader again. Here is Alfie, rounding turn 10. He's had a very dominant race. He hasn't seen anyone. He hasn't even seen Racing Fox, which is amazing. The gap between Alfie and Racing Fox has gone down. Probably because Alfie has had a pit stop and I don't think Racing Fox has, since Alfie has. He hasn't even seen Paradox. All of these races that we've seen, they have been for position. They haven't been drivers trying to unlap themselves as soon as they get laps. No. It is these drivers racing for position, which is admirable. It is really good to see. So let's have a look at another one, as I point out the fact that Alfie has had such a dominant race, as Gab gets a 3-second time penalty for going off so much. Alfie has gone so fast that he is a whole pit stop ahead of Gabby, who is a whole pit stop ahead of Levy. As we have a few more laps left, about 2 I'd guess. Alfie pushing his car as fast as he can. Let's have a look at Gab. Where is Gab? A little bit of damage on Gab's car. Hopefully that's desync. Doesn't seem to be affecting them as they put their car through turn 4, 5 and 6. They don't seem to be affected by the massive amount of damage on the right hand side of their car. Let's just have a look at Levy. Here is Levy, the other APS driver. It's going to be an APS 2-3. Rounding turn 8, he goes. The Dutchman. He'll be happy with a podium, but of course, nothing beats the feeling of a race win. Let's just have a look at Sabe's on board, because he seems quite close to C's. As I say that, he goes off. Still, this is Seb racing for Sunset Outburst, Outdrive. Rock driving faster. The gap building, the physical gap building, the distance growing. Shrinking as we enter the corner, and C's going sideways. They both go sideways at roughly the same point. They both managed to keep it steady. The gap stays about the same. Lock up Taiwan from C's. And that's not exactly what you want to be doing. Alfie going off track once more. There's a massive piece of bodywork on the track. That must be from Racing Fox. No, from Gabby. It was Gabby that had the massive damage. Alfie off track again. These two drivers closer and closer and closer. Soon they'll be in slipstream range. Into turn one, braking. Massive turn, blind turn, because you can't see anyone exiting the pit lane. That's why we have a radar. Through turn 3 we go. The gap growing ever so slightly, but with the speed, the gap is actually closing. You've got to factor the speed in. You can't just go off of the distance, because the distance is always changing. Who are we on board with? Sabe going much faster through these corners than C's now looking back to find Seb right there. Seb up the inside. What's going to happen as we go into turn 9? I can't see them behind us. There is Seb through into turn P4 at turn 10. Massive bit of oversteer for C's. Seb is now in P4. He's got a few seconds to catch up, and by a few I mean about 20 seconds to catch up, and C's goes off. Snap oversteer shoots him off the track. He shouldn't get a penalty for that. He was perfectly fine. Alfie off track though. Let's have a look at Alfie as he has a front wing in his face. Apologies about that. Here is Alfie. A little bit of GUI error there. Apologies. Yes. Alfie not able to keep his car in track limits as often as the other drivers. How much of that is him actually going off, and how much of that is the bot being very strict, we will never know. As C's gets another penalty. Seb gets a penalty. Alfie off track there. Who is getting close to each other? C's losing a lot of time to Sabe. Very interesting what's happened there. He's lost about 10 seconds in the span of 2. Something's happened to C, so let's ride on board. Could have just been a very bad turn, but I doubt it. Now 10 seconds behind Sabe. Yes, these cars not very happy here. Alfie not happy with the track limits. So he gets a 3-second penalty, which doesn't really affect him. He has a massive gap to the driver behind him, about 18-20 seconds now, the gap between Alfie and Gabby. Who is also close to each other. Let's just have a look as we are still on board with C's. Gaining a bit on Seb. These two drivers very closely matched on pace, but opposite ends of this straight. We should only have a few more laps left. This race is a... Let me ask how many laps are left. Let me ask race control. Everyone seemingly found their driving place, their running position, as we find Alfie close to Racing Fox one more time. 2 laps left as Racing Fox is told he's gone off too many times. Racing Fox into the pits, so Alfie doesn't have another thing to worry about. Alfie showing off big time as he types and drives at the same time. Racing Fox in the pits, doing repairs, getting new tyres. He'd spun, that's why he got the penalty. No, the penalty? The warning. Alfie though, one more lap after this. Driving his car to pieces. Quite literally. Here is Seas. Seas has gone backwards. What's happened to Seas? Can he recover it? As he exits turn 11, he's had a massive spin. No one behind him, but that's going to lose him a bunch of time. Paradox, 8 seconds down the road. That is not exactly what he wants. Racing Fox with his track limits warning removed. The bodywork from Gab still there, as Paradox gets a warning for track limits as well. These drivers very close to the end of the race now. It's right there, they can see it. There is Paradox halfway down the straight. Alfie having more moments off track again. Any penalty he gets won't affect him. Well, of course, the only one that will affect him is a disqualification, but I don't see that happening. Alfie's front wing in the middle of the first corner. Bit of debris, but I think that's just for me. This gap between Seas and Paradox, still about 8 seconds. Seas spins it out of turn 4. Got to hold his brakes. He holds his brakes. There's Paradox. Paradox makes it through. That was very close from Seas right there. It's right on board with Paradox through the next few corners. Last lap now. Here is Paradox. There is Seas. There, it's getting very tense here in the cockpit as they are on their penultimate lap. Through turn 10, almost spinning it. Paradox off the track. Turn 10 almost claimed another victim. Seas gaining ever so slightly, maybe even losing. They're about matched. Because fatigue will start to set in. They've got to manage so much in this sim that it is quite difficult if they get a little bit of damage, just a little bit, to keep the car in a straight line. It is very difficult. Seas losing that place in the end to Paradox. Paradox being warned for track limits. Is Paradox going to enter the pits? It seems uneasy. He is not entering the pits. There is the last lap sign. Let's have a look at Alfie's onboard, if I can find it. There it is. Checkered flag going out for Alfie. There he goes over the finish line, waving in celebration. Alfie wins the first race of Being GP F3 Season 3. Very well done to Alfie. Let's have a look at Gab as he rounds the final corner. And then we'll have the massive wait for Levy, who is at turn 13. through turn 14. Behind him is Seb somewhere. Right there is Seb. Gary in the pits. Who's gonna finish the line first? It's gonna be Levy. Seb gonna have to settle for P4. There is Levy. Paradox and C's at it again. There is Paradox. This is C's. Racing Fox fuming at something in his car. I don't think this gap is recoverable for C's. I think he will have to settle for P6. Round the final corner he goes. And across the line goes Paradox. Paradox gets P5. Here is C's with P6. Well, that was your race. Thank you everyone for watching so far. Let's just have a look at the winner. As we have a look at the drone shot. Yes, that is desync damage. I can do a little bit of jerry-rigging to fix it. But I'm not sure how good it will look. There we go, almost perfect. There is the winner, Alfie. Entering the pit lane. The winner, everyone, for race 1. Thank you for watching that action jam-packed full race. Thank you for putting up with my commentary. Of course, next week we have another track, which is just as exciting. Oh, do I make it sound exciting? I will tell you that next track right now. Next track on the calendar. Round 2, you might say. Is after this one. Building up that suspension. It's Hirochi Medium. It's going to be entertaining. 2 weekends at Hirochi. Next weekend is the main GP. Because Hirochi is based around Maine. And yeah. Catch you this same time next week for the main GP at Hirochi Raceway. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.